evening and welcome to RPM Premier Division. We're here at Silverstone for round 4 of season 9. Currently staring at the pit lane. Doesn't seem to be much action so far, although I do see some movement in the Ferrari garage there of Aidan Jones, so should have someone out on track fairly shortly. Yep, as Aidan takes to the pit lane. I could hear the voice of Inorganic there. I don't know if he can hear me. I'm assuming we might have some technical difficulties on that front. Who've we got out on track already? We've got Higgsy out on track, which is nice to see Higgsy back. He hasn't been racing with us here in RPM for a little while, so it'll be interesting to see how Higgsy gets on. I do believe it's been a while since he's done anything on F123, so this could be interesting, but we know how quick he can be. And also we've got Brian, or KFC, back this evening as well in the other Alpha Tauri. So a bit more of a full grid this evening. I think we might still be expecting a few more people to arrive, as 18 have checked in, but only 15 are here at the moment. And the track now starting to busy up, but we'll go on board with Higgsy, who's being closely followed by Luke, I believe. These will be the first two to start their flying laps. And I do have some information for anyone watching from what could be argued is not the most reputable source, but apparently we're expecting a dry qualifying with a wet race. So we might not see times quite as fast as these guys are expecting in their time trials and their practices, because they will probably have a wet setup on to really maximise their race pace. You don't win points for qualifying unless you get pole position, and it all comes down to the race proper. I see we have potentially Inorganic back again. Inorganic, can you hear me? And maybe still a few technical issues there, as Higgsy now marches on into sector 2, flying round as he quickly approaches Maggots, through Maggots and Beckett, and it doesn't look like he's been away that long. He seems to be absolutely nailing it so far. A little bit of oversteer, but all moving in the right direction. And we've got Ivor in chat saying good evening. Good evening, Ivor, nice to have you with us. As Higgsy now, he's just got 3 more corners to complete this lap, and this will be the benchmark set for Premier Division. And he crosses the line at 1:25.9. What can Luke do? Luke does a 1:26.4, so half a second clear at the moment is Higgsy. Not a bad return at all. Who have we got coming over? Aidan Jones, 1:25.3. So it'd be interesting with the setups here as well if we are expecting this wet race, as I have been told we're expecting. And interestingly, Stevo splitting Kieran and Luke, but he's done his lap on the medium tyres, so I'd expect him to have a little bit more pace. Currently 1.3 seconds behind Aidan, so expect him to maybe find at least half a second, as Smith also on the medium tyres does a 1:26.6, just slightly faster than Stevo there. I was seeing so many S's in a row, I was forgetting who was who. As Brian now on his return is coming into the final 3 corners, into the left-hander of the chicane, through the right, and this final corner, which isn't really a corner in Formula 1 car, crosses the line with a 1:25.7. Sigsy and Brian are already looking pretty competitive, as we'll try and pick up Oliver, who is in his final sector now. And through the final sector he goes, and it looks like he's going to be quite competitive here as well. Not just quite competitive, he's right up there with 25.5, just 2 tenths away from pole position at the moment. And Quinn looks like he might have been struggling through the fast section there, and yeah, he's bailed on that lap, as Nats in the Haas coming through opens up her DRS, and what can she do? She's going to use the Ferrari there for any little extra slipstream she can get. Now braking hard, turning left, and then quickly to the right. She will come up to the line very, very quickly now, and looks like, yeah, 26.7. So Nats 1.4 away now. The whole field at the moment separated by 1.5 seconds. So fairly tight. Quinn's in the pits. He's obviously made a mistake somewhere on that lap. And I think all on in laps. Just check with Liam. I'd assume he's also on an in lap. And I think he'll be slightly disappointed with that lap time. I know from speaking to him before the race that he's got some very quick times in him, and I think potentially he could be competing with Aiden today. But maybe on this potential wet setup in the dry, he's struggling to find that time. But that might mean that he's set up very nicely for the race. Obviously all theoretical at the moment. I know about as much as you guys watching, and you guys, as you know, probably know twice as much as I do. So Liam does look like he's on a lap right now. He's not taking it easy through here at all, and seems like he's absolutely flying on this lap. So maybe he was just getting the tyres up to 10th, or made a slight mistake on his first lap, but fueled enough to go again. As we come round through the final sector now, and he looks like it's very tidy at the moment from Liam, and he's about to cross the line now with a 25.9, so he's definitely got some pace, Liam. He did improve by about 6 tenths, but obviously he will be much quicker on a proper fresh soft set of soft tyres, and he was clearly carrying more fuel on that run, which has taken some life out of them. Now let's have a look who's about to start next lap. Could be, yeah, it's Morris, who I believe this is his first race with Oliver, so first race in RPM. But these guys looking very, very quick. As Kieran says in the chat, hello to Jones. I'm not going to say what you've said in your comments. Looking at my first lap, I hope to have lots of improvement. Yeah, this I find for myself anyway. You tend to find it through the session as you get back into the rhythm. And I think I always prefer the race, to be honest, because you get more into rhythm. Qualifying's a little bit disjointed with out laps, in laps, cool laps, and then your flying laps. Chaos Druid saying, let battle commence at the front, and saying it is his first race. Well, yeah, battle looks like it could be commencing at the front, especially if we've got a wet race. This could be very interesting. The top 6 drivers all in the 25s at the moment, and Morris might be getting a little helping hand from Oliver here with a bit of slipstream. Hopefully he won't lose some downforce like George Russell did in Australia just this week, and he gets out of the way, and that might be very, very helpful going through Maggots and Beckett's, carrying all that speed. The car looking like it wanted to step out, but he's kept his foot planted. DRS now open. He's 2 tenths up on his previous time for 25.5. That currently will be enough to dislodge Aiden Jones from pole position. and he swings the car to the left and then back towards the right. One more swoop of corners and he will be across the line, and it's a 25.5, so he found another 2 tenths in the third sector. Absolutely flying there, but Aidan really does now have a battle on his hands. He is currently on a lap here. We've just picked him up as he's coming towards Maggots and Beckett's now, and we'll shortly know where he's looking like he's going to fit in, and he is 2.5 tenths up, so at the moment that's not enough for pole, but can he find a similar amount of time that Morris did in the final sector? If he can, he will move himself back up to first on the grid. And across the line, he does improve, but it's not quite enough. 500ths of a second between them as I move to Oliver, who's also getting the same help from his teammate Morris, and this is great teamwork from the 2 new Merc drivers so far. Morris doing exactly the same, getting out the way, and Oliver came so close to invalidating there, but didn't. Keeps it all moving in the right direction, opens the DRS, and he's a 1/10.5 up. So he could do with find a bit of time like Morris did in the final sector, because at the moment it will be an improvement, but it won't improve him a position. As I see Giraffe with a 25.7 slotting himself into 4th. Very competitive time from the Williams there, but the battle is going on between the Mercedes and the Ferrari at the moment, and it's a 25.3. Does improve in the final sector, but not quite enough. Quinn also has set a decent lap time of 1:25.7. He's on, looks like might be on an out lap there or an in lap. Debo pitting. Who's we got on a lap here? We've got Smith. No, not sure. I think Smith just improved by 4 tenths on his last lap. We'll pick up Entity, I think. Could be on a flying lap here. He is. He's 3 tenths up currently, which will put him ahead of Smith into 10th position. But he could do with finding a little bit more if he wants to get inside the top 10. And nice and tidy through there as Entity now coming to the line, and he does just put himself past Liam by 100ths of a second. I think, did we just see Stubby? Yeah, Stubby moving himself up to 7th, so it's getting very tight. The front 3 seem to be a little bit ahead in the low 25s, but then the whole field now almost in the 25s apart from Smith and the 3 drivers below. So if they can find a little bit of time, we could have possibly one of the closest qualifying grids we've seen for a good while. As we go on board with Liam in sector 2, he is 2 tenths up through sector 1, so if he can maintain that at the very least, he could be popping up around 4th or 5th where Giraffe and Brian currently reside, and that just showing you just how tight it is in this Premier Division race in this season.
Hello there, I have sorted out my issue.
Hello Mr. Inorganic, how are you?
I'm okay, I'm back. Yeah, for some reason I had technical issue and I couldn't hear what you're saying. I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
I could hear you, but yeah, all sorted now at least.
Yeah.
It was only I could hear some faint knocking, which might have been, I guess, you getting in a fight with your headset. But yeah, all sorted now, which is good. Well, I don't know if you have been following the qualifying so far at all, but it's been incredibly tight, and Aidan Jones looks like he's got some serious competition on his hands tonight.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. It was, I think my lap time yesterday was 1:20, like 26. I think my fastest lap was 1:26 something. So I did get the fastest lap yesterday. Although I finished 10th, I did get the fastest lap.
I know all about that too well. The amount of fastest laps I thought going into last lap, I've got this sorted, when I see an organic pop up with the fastest lap on the last lap. It was the bane of my existence back in the day.
Well, it was either that or I had your car in the back of mine, so that was probably what made me go a bit faster. He was pushing me along a bit.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, as I say, Morris, 10th second faster than Aiden, so
Yeah.
and Oliver there as well. So I mean the times are they're quick and they're close.
Well, the Mercedes were giving each other a nice run of slipstream and tow round the whole of the second sector, so that could equate to that difference we're seeing. But I mean, it's very good, strategic teamwork that at the end of the day. As I think Morris is on a lap or starting a lap. He's got some traffic though. He was 1/10 up. Just a quick one from the comments. Either saying Aiden, Morris, Oliver in that order. He reckons there'll be 2 virtual safety cars, 1 safety car. And then he says hards are good for 32 laps, all drivers in total 42 second time penalty track limit. Well, it looks like Bet RPM is going to have to reopen its doors with a bet like that. So, putting the Sky Bet, Builder Bet to an absolute shame. I'm sorry I mentioned Sky Bet there. I know we all don't like to imagine that there's other betting companies out there other than Bet RPM, but apparently so. You got any predictions for tonight, Mr. Inorganic?
Well, I would have said you're going to look at Aiden, but I mean, if Morris can be just as consistent with these kind of times, we could have a say 3-way battle. Giraffe's up there as well. Good to see Higgsy back for a race. Do you know what? And even Stubby.
It's a very tight field, and I do have some information for you that I'll say his name. Entity provided the information, as you know, a very unreputable source, but apparently the race will be in wet weather.
Ah, yes, that happened yesterday. The start of the race was wet. We all started on intermediates. Once the track went dry, there was a good split of different strategies. Some people went on to the hards and went to the end. Some people went mediums all the way to the ends. I went medium and then went softs for the last 10 laps. And that's how I managed to get the extra point for fastest lap. But with the rain, we could definitely be seeing lots of different strategies. Hopefully it's just like it was just then, just the start and not the whole race.
Yeah, absolutely. As Oliver just takes pole position, 24.9. I saw Morris actually had traffic on his lap, and that cost him dearly. And Aiden has invalidated and was over the grass in sector 3 there, so he will not be improving. We could well be looking at a Mercedes 1-2 here. Brian is currently on an improvement. I don't think it'll be enough to upset the order at the front too much. Well, he does move himself to 4th after Liam also improved. So I think the only one left on a lap is Luke, who's not on a lap at all. He's run out of fuel and he's in the pit lane. Well, it was quite an action-packed qualifying there. Didn't know who was going to take it in the end. To be honest, I didn't expect... I don't know why, I just didn't expect Oliver to... Because he was a little bit distant from me. I didn't expect him to go and find 4 temps on that final run. I thought getting himself 2 temps on the run before, it's quite a hefty improvement, but to go and find another 4 temps is very impressive.
Yeah, he's flown through to get a 124.9. For over 2 seconds more than what I managed to do yesterday. I think I'm alright around Silverstone, but I think Aiden's going to have his work cut out, and I hope these 2 drivers are going to be permanent and not reserves, because if they're permanent we could be having some good battles up out front, and we know Liam as well down in 6th has got a lot of pace, so this is going to be a really interesting race.
Yeah, absolutely. And there you can see the 2 Norwegian Mercedes drivers, 1 and 2, and Aiden Jones. Well, I think that's the first time this season he's not on the front row of the grid, so He's won the first 3 races of the season from the front rows of the grid, so he's got his work to cut out. He's got Brian returning behind him, Steve over, good qualifying there. Liam not quite executing the pace I think he believed he had. I think he thought he would have been in amongst it for the pole position, and then we see Giraffe, Higgsy, Quinn and Stubby making up the top 10, Entity in 11th, and then the bottom 3 or 4 there just in the 2060s. So maybe they're running more conservative approaches, the wet setup, and seeing Smith's name down that low, we know how good he is at managing a race. I'd imagine he's got a good wet setup here, or he's got some plan. But then again, we said this last week and he put on soft tyres and we couldn't get our heads around it and it didn't work. So I could be wrong once again there.
Yeah, Smith, what I've noticed, especially this season, his 1 lap times haven't been as quick as everyone else's, but in the race he's consistent in them times and he stays out of trouble, keeps it clean. Track limits are going to come into effect. I think a lot of people got track limits yesterday. I got 3-second time penalty on the last lap with about 2 corners left. But that could be a big... and we have got formation laps on. That's better.
We're not getting caught out this week.
Yeah, and I've completely lost my
train of thought
then, or where I was going, or...
Don't worry, I'll finish your sentences for you. That's the kind of chemistry we have in this this commentary box here. And as you can see, we're getting rained on in the commentary box this evening. Everyone on the intermediate tyres, no surprise there. Well, I think it makes an interesting race. We've got new joiners. We've got a bit of a mix-up in the grid. We've got our biggest grid of the season, I believe, in Premier Division. And anything can happen in the wet.
Yeah, Booty in the Ferrari. Is he forgot to? Was he joined late?
Yes, he's joined, I think, after qualifying there. Or at the end of qualifying.
Oh, he's just dropping hints there. He wants to get out the McLaren. I mean, it's understandable.
Well, I've heard, and this seems to be a theme with Ferrari drivers at the moment, the reason Booty is late is because he's been on a weight reduction programme. He's just had his appendix taken out, and he's decided that the only car you can win a race from with your appendix missing is a Ferrari. That's all I'm hearing. Don't know if it's true. It might be one of those things that you find there's a build a bet for on Bet RPM. I'm sure Ivor's already got a few bets on that already. But that's all I can surmise from that situation.
If that's all it takes, I will have my appendix out if I can get myself into a Ferrari. If any surgeon out there wants to take my appendix out for a Ferrari, feel free.
Yeah, I think Ferrari would be performing an appendectomy on me to get me out of their car rather than into it. I'm surprised I knew that word then. I've really tuned in today, apparently. It must be that coffee I've had before commentary. Right, Booty now with his missing appendix taking to the back of the grid and seeing an Entity disqualified there, not getting in the right grid slot. Won't be the first time that's happened to him. Thought I'd get it out the way early doors. As we get ready to go on board with Aiden here, 5 red lights. Okay, let's go. And a bit of wheel spin there from Aiden, and Brian's going to be up his inside as he's going to hang it round the outside. But it looks like Brian's got that covered at the moment, but Aiden goes very, very deep and round the outside again. And we saw this actually in Zandvoort, I believe, that Aiden, when he's got a battle on his hands, is quite the aggressive driver.
Yeah. I think probably more his age and his eagerness to get out the front. Everyone's got around the first few bends, all seeming okay. Bootie's had a cracking start in the Ferrari. He's up to 8th.
And we've had Giraffe and Stubby go off early doors. As on board with Luke here, you see the cars filtering through and the racing so close ahead, trying to pick up where the battles are at the moment. And I tell you who's also had a good start is Liam, up to 5th. So maybe he had dialed that setup in, and now he's past Brian. Brian going backwards a little bit after that great start off the line. You can see just how close all those cars are coming behind, but then there is a 5-second gap to Giraffe and Stubby, who've had a moment. And just going back into here, see if we can see any moves happening. And all following at the moment as they get used to the grip levels on this wet track.
Yeah, Smith's. There's a AlphaTauri round at Higgsy. He's hit the wall. He's got a front end plate damaged.
And it's a virtual safety car. Right, so Ivor, there's one. We've only got one more to go. But then you do need a safety car and about 17 other things to happen. But
if this happens, I want the 6 winning numbers, please.
Absolutely. He's got that first virtual safety car. He's got it out of the way, a lap and a quarter into the race. So he's, let's say, ahead of schedule on that. As Brian, speeding under the virtual safety car, picks himself up a drive-through penalty, and so does Liam. Liam, who's had a great start there, both of them being caught out going too quickly behind a virtual safety car. So absolute nightmares for them, and they'll have to serve that within 3 laps, I believe.
Is it drive-through? Was it 5 seconds?
Drive-through penalties for the speeding.
Drive-through, yeah, they'll have to, within 3 laps. So.
Ivor did also say there'd be 42 seconds of penalties. I don't know how long it takes to drive through the pit lane.
Oh, pit lane around Silverstone,
he might be out on that one, but he might argue that he's talking about time penalties as Aidan Jones goes for a spin and just about keeps hold of it over the sausage curb, and he's got to be careful there. He did rejoin the racing line a bit aggressively there, and he probably should have stayed a little bit more to the right, but everyone's okay at the moment, and it shows you that the grip levels here catching all drivers out, and Aidan Jones now stuck behind the 2 drivers with a drive-through penalty, and this has just given the Mercedes in front ample time to go and run away with it.
Yeah, that corner catching a couple of drivers out. Obviously, Higgsy caught Higgsy out. Exactly the same spot. That corner is it's bad in the dry, let alone in the wet. But I think the thing with Higgsy is he's got 2 cars ahead of him that have got drive-throughs, and it takes so long to get through the pit lane here at Silverstone. Some able to catch up, and in the wet, safety cars are always a possibility, especially on that start-finish straight.
Yeah, absolutely. As also Kieran has made a very good start here into the top 10, but look at Booty. Doesn't need that appendix, does he? He's up to 8th from 16th. Absolutely flying as Entity now having a look down the inside of Kieran. Kieran's going to hang it round the outside, which will give him the inside line to the next corner. I think Entity's going to just have to wait and bide his time here, set the move up, as the Mercedes drivers are swapping fastest laps. But I tell you what, Liam has caught them up. What a shame he's got a drive through, because in this setup he is absolutely flying. And he's dropped Aidan as well. Obviously Aidan having the spin probably overheated those intermediate tyres more than they would have liked. And we've got Booty up to 7th now.
He's going to want to stay in the Ferrari, isn't
He absolutely is. And that is partly because Brian had pitted to serve his drive-through penalty. But if you're RPM Jones and you can't actually do an overtake on track, you fully count an overtake while someone's pitting.
Oh, yeah. That's only why I get overtake. Either that or they spun out.
Sometimes I'm that slow, I get overtaken by people who are pitting. As Stubby now, DNF, and what's happened to Stubby here? And the Aston Martin, and that's a safety car, so Ivor's got his safety car, just needs one more virtual safety car.
Do you know, that could actually mess Liam about, because you can't do a drive-through under safety car, and will the game count this as laps? So could he actually be on for a disqualification?
And that's very true, and that will be very, very harsh if that is the case. I'm not actually sure where Stubby crashed here. I think it might have been out of the corner. No, it wasn't out of the corner that Higgsy's just gone through, because Higgsy
I think it was somewhere by where Higgsy is.
There. So he's lost it on the exit. Is that Luffield there? Just testing my knowledge of corners. Somewhere in Northamptonshire, Stubby is retired, and he'll have a long flight back to the Netherlands now.
But, Higgs is not going to mind the safety car. That's going to bring him up.
I tell you what. If Liam had served his drive-through with Brian there, they'd be no problem, because he looks like he's got the pace. But obviously now, like you said, could be heading for a disqualification. I'll just quickly check the race director to see if there's any details of it. But no, you can't actually see when he has to serve that by. I'm hoping... I mean, it's a shame for Liam, because if he'd served it a lap earlier, the safety car would have brought him straight back into the race. I'm hoping, for the sake of racing, that we don't get some stupid thing where it counts these as laps and disqualifies him. He'll be able to, once the safety car has come in, he'll be able to serve that penalty as normal.
Yeah, hopefully. Logic doesn't always come into F1 23 at times, but hopefully he'll be able to get in as soon as the safety car goes in and he doesn't get disqualified, because he's shown a lot of pace, and he's he was 6th and he worked his way up, so but a lot of other cars have pitted. The top 7 haven't. Aiden's gone in as well for a fresh set of inters.
Yeah, so the Mercs have split the strategy here. Oliver staying out and Morris taking a pit stop, albeit they would have lost out because they would have had to double stack. So I assume that's part of the reason why they've done that. But also, it's good to hedge your bets in case there's an incident in the midfield. Luke has now caught the pack. Now it's just Brian and Higgsy, who are about 18 seconds behind the pack here. They need to close up. And they're just going through the start-finish straight now, so they should catch the safety car by the end of this lap. So we got a massive switch around. 2 Red Bulls right up there. Quinn and Kieran having an absolutely storming start. Let's have a look at the places gained. Obviously it's all been changed a little bit because Booty was the man on a charge. He's pitted. But Kieran up 9 places. Nats also up 9 places. Entity up 6 places. Quinn at 6 and Liam 4, but Liam with that drive-through penalty. But these guys will be having to pit again. Well, I think everyone's going to have to pit again, but obviously they've got a little less desirable tyres than the others.
Yeah, I was just thinking, without actually seeing the weather map, whether the cars that have stayed out are hoping that at some point it's going to go dry, so they won't have to pit again to go on to another set of inters, because the last thing they want to do is go in, get a pit stop, go on to fresh inters, and then a couple of laps after the track go dry. That would really mess up their strategies. But
yeah,
interesting to see now what happens, and obviously weather-wise and with Liam.
Well, safety car in this lap. I was just looking at some signs of the weather. I can see some umbrellas with the spectators around Silverstone here. Saw something very interesting. If you look straight ahead, no umbrellas in that uncovered stands back there. But down by Cops, where they're under a cover, everyone's got their umbrellas up. Very interesting. Artificial intelligence is going to take over. Certainly not Electronic Arts, I don't think. When will Oliver go here? We'll go on board with Liam, watching behind. So Liam's not disqualified yet, but he's going to have to serve this drive through at the end of this lap, you'd assume, as he gets a lot of wheel spin. And there goes Oliver. And he's been joined by Entity.
And it's his car off.
Yeah.
That's a bit unfair for Oliver to get a 5-second penalty for that.
It is absolutely unfair. And do we have a full course caution? No, it's a virtual safety car. So either... Wow. Where are you getting your information from? So I did not expect that. Oliver looked like he had the traction, because I was on board with Liam, who looked like he was sliding everywhere, and thinking, he's going to struggle. And then all of a sudden, Oliver's rear axle just completely stepped out of line, and that was him in the barriers. An Entity almost feeling a bit sorry for him, thought he'd come and join him. Decided to crash headlong into him. The thing for Oliver is he's going to get rid of his 5-second penalty in a pit stop, but it feels very, very harsh. He's dropped it, which he'll be annoyed at that mistake, but he can't help that another driver has come and collected him.
Yeah, I mean, he spun. Whether Entity did exactly the same and just got on the power a bit too early and the car's just pulled, or whether he's pulled out to overtake a car. And it's just unlucky that Oliver's car was sideways on. And again, for Oliver, if that 5 seconds was carried to the end of the race, obviously it would get knocked off, but when he goes into the pits, he will have to go into the pits to change, and he's going to serve that 5 seconds. So that's a double kicker, that is.
Yeah, and it's been
and he's disqualified.
Steve, because he should have come in at the end of that lap. Yeah, and I couldn't believe that he'd carried on, because the virtual safety car was bound to end, so he's disqualified. I've seen Steve-O's had a spin. Oliver is going into the pits, I assume, to repair probably some front wing damage, at the very least, because he got a double whack, one from the wall and one from the Williams of Entity. And Entity, unfortunately for him, after a podium last week, there's a retirement this week. But this has changed everything. Quinn, Kieran and Nat, who I believe were all towards certainly Kieran and Nat's the bottom end of the qualifying session, and now both on the podium. They do have Morris in the Mercedes behind, and Morris already looking for a move on Nat. But Quinn is clearing off out front, and I think he was in mid-table of qualifying.
And I'll tell you who's lost out big time as well is Stebo, because Stebo was up there. Stebo was showing a lot of pace, and he's now behind Luke, but Luke has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Everything's all changed around, isn't it? But Morris now is going to start working his way through. He's on pressure inters. He's got past Kieran, but I think Kieran will just be happy if he stays there in third. But what a mistake from Liam. A big one. I mean, I can understand him not coming in while the safety car was out, virtual safety car. It finished before he crossed the line, so we should have really have come in.
Absolutely. And I've just seen an unbelievable move by Booty, considering the amount of people spinning on the final corner there, and he's just sent it up the inside of Nats, and Smith has also followed through. So Smith all of a sudden right back into this race. And Aiden, all that chaos has brought him back into it. He's now pressurising Kieran, and if he uses DRS wisely, which he is doing, should have him down this straight. But Kieran, obviously on those older tyres, just managing his race at the moment, and he'll be hoping people behind are battling hard so he can build some gaps up for his later pit stop. Well, Quinn, who was getting right out in front of the field, has already been overtaken by Morris. Morris absolutely flying at the moment in these conditions, but like we're saying, Quinn on those older tyres, so not got quite as much grip as Morris does right now, and Aiden will be the next one looking to get that move done quickly to put the Mercedes under pressure. And I can see Oliver, what a shame for him, 40 seconds behind now, Stebo in 11th position, so he's got a hope that either loses a bet and there's another safety car.
Yeah, it's I don't know, Giraffe gone in for just gone in for tyres, hasn't he? So obviously them inters are going to start going off because Quinn's on 9 laps, so he's going to be imagine he'll be in soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of these guys will be pitting soon. I tell you what, I've been so impressed by Booty tonight. Absolutely flying.
Yeah,
from 16th to 4th.
Yeah, he's going to be preferring the Ferrari to the McLaren. I was just looking at some of the chat, and we've got here the entities put Prem lobby broken again. Liam disqualified despite no drive-through. On my screen, he said that he had a drive-through, and he had it on yours as well, didn't it? So
yeah, I saw a drive-through for speeding, and I mean, for example, Brian clearly knew he had a drive-through because he served it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. They might know more than we do, but we haven't actually seen any issues, which makes a change in one way.
Yeah, I mean, I had it on my screen that he had a drive-through. Like you said, Brian knew he had one and served it.
And they were next to each other on track, so I wonder if Brian was coming fast behind Liam or something, so Liam was speeding up more than he needed to, and that's why they both got it. As I think Luke has had a little moment in the final sector there as he loses 2 places to Stebo and Nat. But you can imagine, well, you can see just how much Nats and Kieran have gone backwards. They were 2nd and 3rd just about 3 laps ago. And those tyres.
I was just about to say that with Nats, dropped down quite a few places, and Higgsy, who obviously went in to have a nose cone, he's now up to 8th.
Yeah. So Higgsy's managed to find his way back into the race. I see Oliver is only 37 seconds behind, so he's lapping rapidly. And to be fair, Giraffe's coming with him to some degree, although 6 seconds back, but unfortunately for those guys, some incidents putting them out of the running for the race as it stands.
Well, I've got it on good authority that a certain Higgsy will definitely be wanting to get past certain Kieran in front of him.
Oh, some family rivalry there.
Yep, bragging rights coming into effect.
Well, we'll see what Kieran can do and if he can hold him off. At the moment, that gap at 1.8 seconds has been staying relatively unchanged. Smith still close in behind Booty here. We've got a yellow flag somewhere, and that's Aidan Jones has dropped it again on that final corner, and he's got to be careful there. He really should be reversing.
Oh, he's creeping a bit too far forward then when the car's coming round. Luke's got another 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, and I've just seen that Oliver's also picked up a penalty, but I think Oliver's possibly had a moment at the back here, because now they're 46 seconds behind, unless our timing is not right on, as Smith then picks up penalties. So far that is 12 seconds of penalties, in case you're counting either. Again, if you do win your bet and you stand to win lots of money, please direct message Luke. He will sort you out with any payments. It's nothing to do with us.
And DM me 6 numbers in the lottery.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nothing to do with us. We're just the beautiful faces behind it. We're not the money men. Well, all change again. Booty now on the podium. Smith chasing down the podium after having a bit of a nightmare last week. This is a nice return to form for the Aston Martin driver, and they're both gaining on Quinn here, whose tyres are probably screaming out to be changed fairly soon. Also Higgsy right now, right on the back of Kieran, and this is the one we want to see. It's for family bragging rights.
And Booty is right behind Quinn, putting Quinn under a bit of pressure, and Booty now, Quinn's gone into the pits.
Yeah.
So Booty from last has taken his Ferrari all the way to second. Who needs a McLaren when you got a Ferrari?
Absolutely. Must be something about the engine. Although I do say that, a McLaren running a Mercedes engine, there's a Mercedes out 8 seconds out in front of him. Morris at the moment, those lap times absolutely outrageous in the wet here, just extending his gap and extended his gap. The timing looks like it's sorted itself out for Oliver at the back there now. He's 26 seconds behind, and he might even be right on Aidan Jones, because Aidan Jones is currently in the pit lane, and from looking very assured for the first 3 rounds and having a bit of a battle on his hands tonight, it's all turned round completely for Aidan Jones here at his home race.
Yeah, we've had a couple of nose cones. That last final corner, it seems to be catching a couple of the drivers out, especially in these conditions. And
we've got quite a battle through Maggots and Beckett's here, because Stebo's decided to join on to the family battle.
I mean, look at that. We've got Kieran there, and we've got Higgsy behind him. Then we've got both of the Alfa Romeos. So there's all family pride going on here. Stebo.
Kieran's pitting.
Kieran going to the pits.
Yeah, so Kieran managing to make those tyres last a little bit longer than Quinn did. But you'd imagine would come out, well, in front of Oliver but behind Quinn. Right, so back on to... So Stebo's dropped back, so I'll go back to Smith, who's still stuck behind Booty at the moment. They seem to be fairly evenly matched on pace.
Max is into the pits as well.
So I wonder if... Did Quinn... Oh no, so Kieran's not out of the pit lane yet. It's a very, very slow and long pit lane here at Silverstone. And Smith's still chasing hard. He'll want to clear Booty if he does have that pace. With that 3-second penalty, obviously that won't be served in the pit lane, so he needs to start getting moving. Otherwise, he could be susceptible come to the end of the race.
Yeah, that 3-second time penalty could come back to bite pretty hard. But again, I mean, he was towards the back. His qualifying time wasn't particularly up there with the leaders, and apart from the obviously that penalty, he's going through the field with Booty. Booty and Smith, absolutely fantastic drives from them so far.
Yep, I've just brought it up on screen there. You can see Booty up 14 places, Smith up 9 places. They probably fought after qualifying. I mean, it looks pretty clear. Oh, as Brian's in the pits, dropping down in the AlphaTauri, it looks pretty clear that they'd probably taken a wet setup, but I don't think they could have dreamt that it would go this well, that they'd both be on the podium from 16th and 12th on the grid respectively. So unbelievable driving from these two, avoiding all the incidents that have been happening. As did I see someone going sideways there? Yes, I did. Luke. So Luke has gone off track and he spins it coming back on track, and he's
yellow
got,
flags are out for him.
Yeah, he's kept it moving, and that might mean we might see another family battle coming in fairly soon. Quinn did just set the fastest lap. That's now been taken by Aidan Jones, but Quinn will now be catching up his brother fairly quickly here, and we always enjoy a battle between those two.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, Luke's having a lot of trouble there because the back stepped out again for him. So I wonder if some drivers have gone for a dry setup. Could be looking for a bit of a dry end to the race, and that's why they're struggling at the moment.
I think also the issue is he's fired up those rear tyres, and then obviously some issues have come from that in the next few corners, as Smith and Booty actually made a bit of contact there. Smith looked like he was struggling for grip into the corner, and Booty kind of running into the back of him, so Booty's now pitted. I don't know if he actually got damage from that. It didn't look like it was the hardest of contacts, but he's pitting. Maybe he's now putting a fresh set of inters on, trying to go for the undercut because Smith was right alongside him, and going to the end knowing that Smith's got this 3-second penalty. Maybe we will see Smith pit fairly soon to try and cover that off. But Booty could do with getting out in a position where he's not got too much traffic. He comes to the end of the pit lane now, and he might just be clear of Brian and Kieran here. It's going to be oh so tight.
Yeah, I'd say the top 5 as well will need to go into the pits again pretty soon. So Higgsy, after the poor start, is up to 3rd, but yeah, the top 5 are going to have to pit again.
Yeah, so Quinn actually at the moment, if he can keep pumping out these lap times, you never know where he could end up here. He's, well, with Aidan at the moment, the fastest driver on the track. So what can he do? Higgsy picks up a 3-second penalty as the penalties keep coming in, especially with these inters. I imagine going through that second sector where you've got Maggots and Beckett's, it's very, very easy to get a warning. And Booty passing, I should say his teammate, maybe his ex-teammate now.
His ex-former teammate there. Yeah, showing the McLaren, the Ferrari fresh set of heels there, and yeah, showing a bit of pace.
Maybe there's a bit of confusion on board with Kieran as well, seeing old Booty's coming behind. Wait, that's a Ferrari. What's going on here? As the top 3 now pitting, so Smith does try and cover off the charging Booty. Morris also into the pit to get his final set of intermediates, it will be, and Higgsy also. And Stebo. It's a right influx of drivers as Luke carries on, and Luke, will he go on to lead this race? Oh, he might just be shy of it. He won't get laps led, but he is in a battle with Quinn. Morris comes out 5 seconds in front of them, actually. I thought it was going to be much closer than that. And Quinn on these fresh inters is absolutely flying. He's basically put himself up to 2nd here.
Yeah, I think Luke had the same problem as I have in my Alpha. That's Aidan again.
Yeah, same corner again. He's not really learned his lesson. You would have thought by now he might have reined it in a little bit, that corner. Pardon the pun for the rain. As Quinn and Luke back on board with these two. Quinn's still stuck behind at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, Luke's obviously got my Alfa Romeo. We do use it as a lawnmower.
Dual purpose. Well, he's not doing his brother any favours at the moment. He'll be in the dirty air here, but if he can get a good exit and use his ERS, but I don't think Luke will make it easy, and it looks like Luke has more ERS, but surely he's going to pit soon.
Yeah, he's gonna have to, I mean, Morris is already like nearly 7 seconds ahead and having a pit stop. I mean, I'd love to know what setup he's using. Is this another Colin Mark III? Is it? Well, I mean, this is.
I would imagine
is unreal.
If I had the same setup as him, I still wouldn't be able to go that quickly. Unfortunately for me, the setup's irrelevant. It's the driver skill that's the problem.
Lack of driver skill in my case.
Yeah, I think that's why I went into my early retirement, because this way, you know, I could suggest that I could be winning a championship. We just never know.
I can talk a good race, but I can get.
As Higgsy looks like he's past Nats. It was run a little bit off the road there, it looks like, or he went wide himself, and Higgsy now trying to make those fresh tyres work. And Smith and Kieran doing battle here. Smith on slightly fresher tyres, going round the outside. And it really looks like to me that Smith has a good setup as Aidan Jones' race goes from bad to worse, picking up a 3-second time penalty, and this is going to blow open the championship for Premier Division, because he had such a points gap, I think a 40-point gap coming into this race, but that's going to quickly move away from him. Obviously Morris starting from scratch tonight with his first race, but if he carries on like this debut, Aidan's got some serious contenders to look out for. And Quinn's still stuck behind Luke here. In fact, he's actually dropped back from him this lap.
Yeah, I can say whether he's. I just think Quinn is probably just possibly saving his tyres a bit, knowing that Luke's going to have to pit any lap now. Probably doesn't want to hurt his tyres too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a little bit of a battle for these podium places. Also, I think maybe Luke's thinking, I've got penalties, everyone's pitted, almost I've left it too late, I'll end up midfield, I'll just try and hang it out, hope they're battling, and see if I can bring home a very decent points haul. But the guys behind are moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Luke is such. I mean, Morris now is 11.5 seconds ahead of Luke. Just trying to work out another 7 more laps. Do you know what? I wonder if Quinn might have to. Them tyres might be shot come the last few laps.
Yeah, because he pitted slightly earlier than everyone else, didn't he? So, where is it now? There's the lap data. Yeah, so Brian and Booty have got 2 and 3 laps on him. Smith and Higgsy have got 4 laps on his tyres. But I mean, to be fair, Luke's losing time to Morris, who's seriously quick anyway. But on 14 lap old tyres, fair play to Luke here.
He's keeping everyone behind him, you know, and he's pulling away from Quinn.
Yeah,
he's over 1.5 seconds now.
It almost looks. I saw Quinn on the corner, on the curb, then getting some wheel spin. It almost looks like Luke has almost frustrated him. He couldn't get past because Luke's pace was good enough, and you obviously need a bit of an overlap on pace. And looks like he's driving a little bit frustrated at the moment, a bit ragged, and that's obviously letting Luke clear off a little bit, and it's actually brought Brian and Booty onto the back of him, and now they're putting pressure on him.
Yeah, I was going to say, as Quinn seen AlphaTauri in his mirrors, gone defensive, which has obviously helped Luke. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep Brian and especially Booty with his pace at the moment on them fresher inters. It'll be interesting to see how many laps he can keep them behind. I don't think he's going to be able to do it for too much longer.
No, absolutely not. And Smith's also catching up to this battle now. In chat, I've had Ivor saying Booty man of the match 100%. I mean, if Booty finishes the race from here, you'd have to say he really does deserve driver of the day. But honourable mention being Morris, who has been absolutely rapid tonight, and unlike the other guys at the front, has kept it all facing in the right direction. But yeah, at the moment, Booty, what a storming drive from 16th, which will currently look like 4th because of Luke's 3-second penalty.
But yeah, and Quinn, he's slightly closer than what he was last lap, but you would think that Luke really would be struggling on them 16 lap inters now.
Yeah, as Brian and Quinn getting very close. I don't know if they made contact on the Ferrari. Booty's trying to go up the inside. Booty's been very opportunistic there. He's got past both of them. And, well, almost certainly driver day as Quinn then getting some wheel spin on the curb and Brian going past and Smith just watching this all happen. And it's kicking off right behind Luke here, and he's probably looking at that in his rearview mirror and going, thank you guys, bit more of that. Yep. I've pulled out half a second there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of banging and coming and toing from there. Don't think there was anywhere drivers can go. It's a tight corner. When Brian gets a bit wide there. But I think Smith would just be looking and thinking, yeah, if you lot keep on doing that, I'll get past you three. They're going to take each other out, but Booty now is beginning to pull away.
Yeah, and Quinn going for the move here. And he looks like he's got that one done. And I think Quinn's battling. Oh, as he taps the back wheel of Smith. I thought he was being a little bit aggressive there. But he's now through his Smith and Quinn. Yeah, I think all the aggression, battling, has killed his tyres. And Luke absolutely massaging those tyres home. Luke still somehow in second. I think we mentioned about 5 laps ago now that he's going to struggle to hold on to this. He's still in second.
Yeah.
He's going to come under pressure from Booty, who has been eating his Weetabix today and is absolutely flying. It's now all this battling has helped Morris be 19 seconds clear. It's a shame Aidan and Oliver had the issues they did. As I see, Giraffe is in the pits, so maybe he's putting on some fresh inters, trying to steal a fastest lap here, considering the gaps behind.
Yeah, I was just trying to work out the because at the moment, because they're so bunched together, Luke with 6 seconds time penalty will obviously slip down the order. Higgsy and Smith have both got 3 seconds. But I think, yeah, Smith is within the 3 seconds of Luke.
Yeah, because they're in the right train here. Let me just put it on leader so we can see that. Yeah, Smith's only about a second or so behind Luke here. They're that close, all these lot. Still a lot can change. We've seen so much action in this race already. As Quinn picks up a 3-second penalty, which is not the time to do it. I mean, he's dropped out of the battle a little bit. He's 1.3 seconds now behind Smith. And Booty still not getting that move done. Luke has the widest car on the grid here. I mean, it's such a shame he's got a 6-second penalty, because this has been a masterful drive in the wet of defence here. As Booty now making a move on board with Brian, having a look at it, and Luke still to get in on the inside. Booty's being made to work this one, but he's going to have the traction now. And Luke finally loses that second place, but look at Brian's exit there. And Brian fancies a little bit of this, and he's getting a run, and he's actually catching Booty here.
Yeah, and I think Smith now, much fresher tyres, will have definitely be looking at Luke. Then tyres have just got to be completely gone now, because the way he's just got past Luke. Yeah, Luke looked like he pretty much stopped then the way Smith got past him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as soon as you get into a battle and a bit offline, and you can see there Brian getting very offline in front. But yeah, Luke unfortunately has lost 3 places already on this lap, but I'd imagine we'll see the guys in front pull away. Luke come back under pressure from Quinn, but Higgsy is actually putting Quinn under a bit of pressure here. and he's looking to the outside. Nothing doing at the moment, but Quinn looks like he's punished those tyres. The two Dutch brothers in front of Higgsy here, both struggling on their tyres right now.
I tell you, it's a shame as well for Smith with his time penalty, because they're so close. He's done fantastic to get his car up to third.
Yeah. He'll lose out to Brian, but he won't lose out to anyone else. So currently he's sitting fourth, so he's not losing out. He can thank, I guess, his lucky stars that everyone else has picked up penalties, but it's such a shame. Just for Ivor, I'll put your penalties up there. You've got 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So it doesn't look like Luke's going to be paying out at the moment.
Luke's having a bit of a battle at the moment with his brother, wheel to wheel, and Higgsy's right there as well. Higgsy's going past, on the inside of Luke. Yeah, he's got past him.
Yeah, and I think Luke 19 lap hold intermediates.
I don't know how he's doing it.
No, unbelievable. And to keep up the pace he has, I mean, he's still part of this train of cars, but obviously it just becomes increasingly hard to defend. And, well, just for something we did mention earlier, Booty pitting that lap earlier than Smith did work, the undercut did work, we saw. But Smith now coming back at him with a couple of laps fresher, one lap fresher inters. Trying to go round the outside here to give him the inside, but Booty just about covers it off. And this is the battle of seconds. Smith will be desperate to get past, but he probably struggled to build that 3-second gap with 1 lap, or it'll be 2 laps remaining, sorry, because Morris is 23 seconds ahead of this battle. And Morris, if you're watching this back, I apologise that I haven't shown you much. It's been a terrific drive from you, but currently there's such battling going on behind you, I can't take my eyes off of it.
And Luke's still going with 20 lap old inters. But Kieran is catching up on him really, really quick, and Kieran's going to look at that, and yeah, he's in the time. So
yeah, Kieran
Nats is going to look and think, well, I can get past Luke here without actually overtaking him, because he's got 6 seconds. So
yeah, Kieran's effectively got himself up to 8th there. Well, actually could be higher if he keeps catching, because Higgsy's still stuck behind Quinn here, and these guys obviously got penalties, so if Kieran keeps it clean, you never know, could end up as high as 5th. Shows how close this division is, even when it does get spread out. If someone gets a penalty, it can be so hurtful to their race. Smith has built up a bit of a gap on Brian, now up to 1.2, still in behind Booty here. He'll be hoping he can get past Booty. He looks to the outside again, just like last lap, tries to reverse it, but Booty almost parking his car on the apex there, and Smith is absolutely desperate because he knows Brian is within the window at the moment, and I think he'll be kind of wishing Booty will let him pass, because he won't be able to probably get the 3 seconds on Booty, but he might be able to get it on Brian. Going back to this, Stebo actually is part of this. Sorry, I got mixed up because I saw an Alfa Romeo, assuming it was Luke, but it's actually Stebo who has come steaming back through after being unfortunate with all the incidents, but back into 7th now, and that's effectively 5th place at the moment, with the 2 drivers in front having penalties. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. I can't see who that is.
I think that might have actually been Oliver, because we've got both of the Mercedes together at the moment. Didn't look like it was going to give each other any space then, but yeah, going to be hoping his teammate does not take him out on the last few corners. That would be. But I was just looking at some of the times that the drivers to set slower times in the pit in the qualifying. Buchavish started last. Smith wasn't particularly fast with his quali time, and they've gone all the way up there.
Yeah,
Smith's got
as
past
Morris
Booty.
takes the win. Yeah, as you said, Smith is past Booty. He now needs to have an absolute mad final few corners to build a gap up on Brian. Oliver did get a penalty on his teammate for ignoring blue flags. As Smith will be the next to cross the line, but he'll lose out on penalties to Booty, who will be my driver of the day, probably followed by Smith and Morris. And Brian gets over the line to demote Smith. Steve-O gets over the line to demote Higgsy and Quinn. And Kieran... Oh, Luke must have dropped back further, so those tyres have completely shot.
Yeah, I was trying to see if he's got a puncher, but yeah, yeah.
And Aidan will be the next to cross the line as he is going into the pit lane. Which might be a bit of a strange decision because, yeah, Giraffe... He would have got points there, but now he won't. And you never know, a point or two can change everything. I believe he would have got points, right? Is it down to 12? Or is it only top 10?
I believe it's still down to 12, yeah.
So Oliver will be rewarded a point for sticking with it after what I think he'll consider just a really unfortunate race, but he's on fresh tyres. I would have said he's going for fastest lap, but he just got a warning, so he probably won't, but he will pick up a point for all his troubles. But Steve-O, DNF.
Yeah, but he was already crossed the line, so I don't know. I don't know what happened there. He'd already crossed the line.
Okay, so Oliver manages to pick up the final points. Wow, that felt like a really action-packed race. I mean, it was a shame we lost the battle for the lead with some unfortunate incidents. But I tell you what, the battle for the podium was absolutely brilliant tonight. I loved every second of that. Oh, yeah. It was a Messiah-like performance there, and floating in the air on the podium. Very impressive.
It bodes well, I think, for the rest of the season. Obviously, Aidan made a few mistakes, the weather and stuff, and we saw the pace of Oliver. So you could potentially 3 there. Liam, we know he's got pace, but can make a bit of a can make a mistake here and there. So we could potentially have 3 incredibly fast drivers, and they've shown today, especially Aidan, that they're not maybe all conquering, that a few little errors can come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see Higgsy in chat saying, restored my place as #1 driver in the family. So he did get the bragging rights. Kieran, really impressive, getting himself back up to 7th there, from 13th on the grid. Driver of the days for me would be Booty, and then the honourable mentions Smith and Morris. Morris with an unbelievable debut, starting on the front row of the grid. His teammate dropped it and got smashed into by Entity, but an unbelievable first race, and I think Aidan has something to worry about now.
Yeah, he's got something to think about, and I think we've got a certain Ferrari driver join us.
I don't like that Ferrari. Even though I should, I mean, maybe I switched to. No, I couldn't do that to Kieran.
Oh, you could. You can.
Props to him, by the way. He let me pass twice because I was on there because I've been in the pits before. So good teamwork. Even though I wasn't sitting in the same car.
Yeah, we wondered if he might take you out just because he saw you as a traitor. No, yeah, unbelievable race. We said you were our driver of the day today.
Thank you.
I mean, 16th on the grid. Did you have your appendix removed by any chance?
I did.
Oh, you did? Yeah, well, that was great racing in the end.
That was good fun, man.
Yeah.
Sorry about the little tap.
Yeah. Don't worry. At least, no one got damage from it, so it's all good.
I was going very, very slow. I did brake before my normal braking point, but obviously not quite enough. But it was, tiny little love tap.
I didn't have... Well, I guess most of the drivers didn't. But I had no setup, literally, because of course the game doesn't allow you to change after quali. and
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't attend in quali, so it was horrible. Like I had crazy understeer in some corners, especially in the last sector.
You
Fair
say
play.
that though, but you drove absolutely flawlessly. From
Yeah,
last up to second.
yeah. Of course, there was a lot of chaos in front. Like I saw a lot of people spinning, and like Entity, the second Mercedes, Giraffe. A lot of people got taken out, and yeah, most of the time it's like that. If you just stay away from all the chaos, you finish quite well in the end. And that's what happened, and yeah, it was quite a good race, fun race. And yeah, the funny thing is, I was, I think on Monday or Sunday, I was practicing with Aiden. We were having a little fun, doing a few 5-lappers, and yeah, now I now I replace him in the Ferrari. Good luck joining Kieran as a teammate. Have fun back there. I'm gonna be on the podium from now on.
Yeah, Booty's moving to Ferrari, definitely there.
Yeah, that's the Carlos Sainz move, you know, from McLaren to Ferrari. Yeah, next week I will have a doctor's appointment for my appendix. Then
I'm going to get my other one removed next week.
And Smith, I mean, obviously, again, qualifying not particularly brilliant compared to other drivers. I bet you curse that 3-second time penalty, though, don't you?
Oh, massively. Yeah, it's I'm podium. Well, obviously not on the podium on the track after the penalty, but I think Brian's a reserve, so it'll go down as a P3. But yeah, it could have been a lot more if I hadn't picked up some silly warnings. Yeah, a bit annoyed, but it is what it is. I think me and Booty fighting up at the front with one of us with 3 seconds I think that's happened at most Silverstones between us. One of us has had the penalty, so it was his turn this time.
Yeah.
Benefit.
I mean, was you particularly worried about looking at qualifying and the times that people in front of you were putting in? Was you particularly worried? Did you have a full wet setup, or?
Absolutely not. It was a full dry setup. I was hoping
I don't think anyone had a full wet setup.
No, we should turn it off because you can't even simulate intermediate weather properly. I don't think, can you? You can just set it to a Grand Prix in the wet. But yeah, it was interesting. Most people on dry setups, which probably led to some of the chaos. But I don't know. I like to try and just try and stay out of trouble and pick up the places from incidents normally, so that worked out well. But I had some really good battles along the way. I think I had a really nice fight with Kieran at one of the midpoints, and obviously at the end there was me, Booty, Brian, Higgsy, Luke, all really close fighting, all pretty clean, and yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, and
you
also
like the start, Smith?
Got a terrible start.
Yeah.
Dropped like a pebble.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw, Aiden made a fairly strange decision when he was in the final points position to retire on the last lap. So it's big gains for you this week, and well, and obviously, I guess for you guys, it's also quite frightening because those Mercedes looked pretty quick.
Yeah, they must have removed their kidneys.
Yeah, but and in quali, I guess you saw it too. The teamwork they were doing, it was unbelievable to watch. I was sitting there and I was like, wow, these guys know what to do.
Yeah, they timed that so perfectly.
The second run from Morris, I think, the second run, that was amazing. And like the way he was driving, I don't think anyone on the grid here is driving like him. And
yeah, it was really impressive.
Amazing to see. Yeah.
Well, without seeing their times, I saw them getting quite close and the sector went yellow. So I was thinking they're either very, very good or they've completely balls that up. And then saw a sub 125, and yeah, we kind of know which way that went. I'm pretty sure that's the quickest pole time at Silverstone we've had, potentially. Certainly in the last couple of seasons. I think last season Colin set a 125 flat or a 125.1. I don't know if he was sandbagging for that, but that's a pretty quick lap.
Well, and I think with you guys as well, I was just looking here in the standards, Entity actually managed to crash himself into Oliver. I think he felt sorry for him and crashed into the wall with him. But I think that puts you two into second and third in the championship. Well, Smith, you're still second. And I think, obviously, big gains on Aiden. So can we expect to see more battles between the two of you for the rest of the season?
Me and Aiden or me and Booty?
You and Booty. Because that was
yeah.
so entertaining tonight. Couldn't take our eyes off the battles happening behind Morris.
Yeah, he was a Lone Ranger out there about 20 seconds up the road. But hopefully, going forward, Aiden and the Oliver guy, the other Mercedes, they'll be fighting with Morris, so there'll be some battles up there, and I'd absolutely love to keep battling with Booty and the rest, because that was good fun.
Here. Same here, but I don't think we will see a lot of fighting next week since we race in Monaco, but
oh yeah,
rest of the season I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm interested to see the Mercedes tow strategy in Monaco. Huge gains.
One of them's going to have to go badly. One of them's going to have to go straight on into the wall after the tunnel, basically.
Take one for the team, literally.
Get your provisional lap in, and then smash into the wall. I think Perez went down there, didn't he, at one point?
Do you think we will see some wall riding strategies next week, maybe?
I'm fully expecting you two to be side by side through the hairpin.
Oh,
the way it was going tonight. No, you never know. I think we saw tonight some of the drivers so quick, but it's also because everyone's so close. It's so on the edge, so you never know what could happen if someone gets it right on strategy. I guess with a safety car, I'd assume there's going to be a safety car at Monaco.
Yeah, I'd imagine there probably will be. Probably a red flag. Might have to turn that down a setting or two.
Because in the league races, I think here in RPM we rarely had incidents in Monaco. Or rarely incidences that involve two or multiple cars.
Oh, you haven't been in a race with me then, Booty.
I think everyone's too scared of DNFing, but this season's all about overtaking moves, no holding back.
Yeah, I tend to view Monaco as more like Scare Electrics, but using the walls as the thing to guide you around. But that's why I've retired. In Organic, you got any questions, or you all questioned out?
No, I was just thinking about the teamwork with the two Mercedes. I mean, I couldn't do that even if I was actually hooked up to the back of a tow truck. I wouldn't be able to keep up, especially to get them kind of lap times in. So it'd be interesting to see how them two get on round Monaco. I just got to say, absolutely fantastic drives by both of you. Masterclass.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thanks for joining for the interviews, guys. And thanks for everyone who's watched today. Thanks to you, Mr. Inorganic, for some great comms again. Really enjoyed chatting to you once we got past all the technical difficulties. And for those of you in chat, we are obviously back next week at Monaco. Same time, different place. And we can't wait to have you back to watch some more RPM. Thank you very much.